Welcome back to Fire Emblem Awakening. Last time, we recruited Donnie to the Shepherds and completed his side quest chapter. But it's still going to be a while before he's strong enough to really stand on his own compared to the others, and for that reason, we're going to have a bit of a bonus episode this time. So, when we reload though, we'll see that... Okay, I can show off something interesting. We just got something that I actually didn't get to appear in any of my practice attempts because it's random. Sometimes, random merchants will appear on the world map.
Take your time.
And yes, they're run by the series mascot, Anna. Now this one seems to be selling all forms of staves, and it's actually pretty much random what the inventory of these shops is going to be, so these can be kind of interesting sometimes. As you can see there, this shop is selling a physics staff. This early in the game, that is actually really rare. I don't think we're really supposed to be able to have that at this point in the game. So that might be quite nice to buy. There's also a rescue staff on sale, which would have been pretty nice if it weren't for the fact that we just found one in the last chapter. There's also an energy drop, which permanently raises your strength. But I don't think it's really all that important at this point in the game. Okay, she can't even use the physics staff yet, but I may as well want to buy this one while it lasts. Yeah, the merchants only have one of every item. While I'm at it, I might as well buy another vulnerary. Actually, there are a limited number of those. So the basic heal staff and the vulnerary, they have unlimited, but the others, she only stocks one of each. And I think that's probably enough for this point. We can forge here, but we can forge in any regular armory. Now, once you exit the shop, the merchant will disappear, so bear that in mind. What I was actually going to say was, completing Donnel's parallel gives us access to a shop here that stocks all three basic varieties of iron weapons. This is pretty useful, except that I pretty much have all the iron weapons I need at this point, but definitely a good idea to get this shop early on, because, well, iron weapons will lose their usefulness in a pretty short amount of time, but having them early is quite nice. But what I really wanted to cover in this bonus episode was Spotpass teams. And for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and go into the screen here. Now remember how before I said, okay, one thing I want to point out. Because this is a bonus episode, I am not going to initiate any supports. Just so that people who only follow the main episodes don't lose out on any of these conversations. So we unlocked wireless features a little bit earlier, but I deliberately avoided it because I wanted to explain it now. Now, I'm not going to fully explain everything on this page. Street Pass team, I might make an episode dealing with later, but it's very, very hard for me to actually show off how Street Pass battles work, because, well, my 3DS that I'm recording this on is American, and I live in Australia, so even though I do know people who have Awakening, American Street Pass is not compatible with Australian Street Pass, so I can't even get their teams on. Bonus box is what I'm going to look at, but Double Duel, again, I may cover that later. Avatar Logbook and Spot Pass, where you just turn Spot Pass on or off. Spot Pass, okay, I probably need to explain what this is. Spot Pass is essentially automatic free DLC. Basically, if you connect your 3DS to the internet, as long as you're connected, you'll automatically download these particular bonus features. These will be delivered into the bonus box. Now again, this is completely free, so essentially you always have this. Now, I'll explain later actually. Renown Awards is something else that I might mention. Now, you might notice on the bottom screen that I have 50 Renown. Your team gains Renown mostly for recruiting other Spot Pass teams or competing in random skirmishes. They don't actually get very much Renown from the main story. Renown can be used here to actually get a bunch of rewards. Now, you can only send each of these rewards once per file, so at 50 Renown, I can get myself a glass sword. Now, also note that getting one of these items does not actually lower your Renown. It's not like they cost money, but you can only get each item once. So as you can see, my next reward will be at 100 Renown, then 150, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 99999 Renown. This item here is particularly important though. While I'm at it, I might explain this. For 50,000 Renown, this item here is Boots, a much sought after stat boosting item that permanently raises the movement of the character it's used on by 2 points. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this a special explanation is that there are only 2 boots in the entire game, and this is one of them. Boots are the only stat-boosting item that you cannot that you cannot infinitely obtain in Awakening. You can only ever get 2 per file, and you can't use them both on the same character. I'm kind of glad, because otherwise you could just repeatedly use them on the same character and max out their movement and have them be able to cross the entire map in the space of 1 turn, so that'd be kind of stupid. So, no grinding for boots. This boots and 1 boots that you find during the main story are the only ones you get in the whole game. So, just to point that out. But now, time to check out the bonus box. Now, originally, when the game was first released, these bonus rewards would periodically be released week by week. It took a few months for them to actually fully release them. Every, either week or 2 weeks or something like that, a bonus item would be distributed, a couple of bonus teams would be distributed, a bonus map would be distributed, and some bonus double duel challenges, which I won't explain at the moment. Now, bonus maps I will be discussing later. Suffice to say, these are not random skirmishes. These are actual full chapters that let you recruit new playable characters who are fully playable characters. In other words, they have supports, they can marry your avatar, and have children. They have quotes, they have voice acting. They are 100% full characters. However, all of them are giant spoilers, so I am not even going to look at these bonus maps just yet. Also, you can only do these bonus maps around the time of chapter 20, well, the second last chapter in the main story. So, it's useless to even look at these now. Bonus items, though, are items that randomly were distributed basically every few weeks. Now, you might notice that all of these are legendary weapons from previous games, except some of them, like the Vengeance Axe and Astro Bow. Most of these are legendary weapons from previous games in the series. And because of this, I don't exactly want to transfer any of these to my file yet, because they're a bit broken at this point in the game. And just like Renown rewards, you can only transfer each of these to your file once, so transfer them wisely. Bonus teams is the real thing that I actually want to show off here. Here, you'll find teams of characters from earlier games in the Fire Emblem series. Every Fire Emblem game, or every previous Fire Emblem game, is represented here, including an Others category, including games that were Japan only, which you can see by the JP thing in brackets there. So, what are these? Well, if we check out Shadow Dragon, we have teams for Nina, Cedar, Linda, Merrick, Tiki, Minerva, Ogma, Navar, or Nabal, or whatever you call him in your region, Garneth, and Marth. That is short for Prince Marth. As you can see, Prince Marth has his own unique class as well. So, you can summon these teams to the game and fight them, and if you defeat them, you'll recruit that character. It's really not all that big a deal, though, because these characters don't participate in the story at all. They're basically just glorified guest avatars with no personality at all, but kind of cool to have them on your team, though. So for Gaiden, we have, and this is interesting because in these Japan-only games, we finally get official localized names for all these characters. So we have Claire. I'm really glad they did this because her name in the Japanese version was often fan-translated to Klee, and that makes no sense. Bowie, Myson, Valbar, I do like this localization a lot. Luthia, again, a much better name than Ryuto. Clive, again, a much better localized name than Klurb, which is, yes, was actually what a lot of fan translations called him. Norma, Dean, Celica, and Alm. Usually you have the main character and the main villain of the game as potential Spotpass teams here too. Now, Mystery of the Emblem is a bit weird. It's not mainly characters from Mystery of the Emblem. It's mostly characters from the new characters from Shadow Dragon, and some people from BS Fire Emblem as well. So we have Norn from Shadow Dragon, Katria, who was also in Shadow Dragon, Malice from BS Fire Emblem, Athena, Horus, Etzel, Legion, who you may know as Roro if you watch my new Mystery of the Emblem playthrough, Katarina, Hardin, aka spoilerific Dark Sphere possessed Hardin, so People who haven't played Mystery of the Emblem or its remake might be a little confused by just how different Hardin is here from Shadow Dragon. And King Marth. Yes, there are 2 different Spotpass versions of Marth. You might notice that just like in Shadow Dragon, Marth can't promote, but he can reach a maximum level of 30 instead of 20. Pretty nice. Another interesting thing about Spotpass Marth, he can actually use Crom's Falchion. I mean, it was originally his sword after all, so it makes sense. Genealogy of the Holy War was actually split into both 1st gen and 2nd gen, which is pretty awesome. For 1st gen, we have Deirdre, Arden, Jumke, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his name completely, Rakasis, Ethlin, Quan, Ira, Lewin, Arvis, and Sigurd. For the 2nd gen, we have Fee, Arthur, Ulster and Larsay. Again, I'm very glad they localized these names, because before there were Lach and Sakasar, which don't make sense as names at all. Altena, Ced, aka my favourite Fire Emblem character of all time, Julia, Ares, Julius, and Salif. For Thrakia 776, we have Nana, Dagdar, Salem, Olwen, Aval, Finn, Syas, Marita, Raedric, and Leif. Raedric's probably the only drastically localized name here. Everyone else is pretty much the same as they've always been known. Notably, Finn did appear in Genealogy of the Holy War, but he was more prominent in this game, so he's in this particular set. Binding Blade, aka Sword of Seals, as some people call it, has Walt, Shanna, again a localized name, her original name was Fanny, which sounds kind of stupid, Lou, Rai, Sophia, Cecilia, I keep getting her confused with Celica, Percival, yes, one of my favourite pre-promotes of all time, Lilina, Zephiel, and Roy. Something to note about Zephiel, the Spotpass version of Zephiel actually has a skill that is normally exclusive to a major storyline boss of this game, so kind of interesting that. Now we have the characters who Westerners will be more familiar with, starting with Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. With Florina, Nino. Now Nino's team is quite unique. Nino herself is very weak, but she's accompanied by 3 strong promoted enemies, representing Linus, Lloyd, and Jafar, so be careful if you want to take her on, don't underestimate her. We also have Sarah, Matthew, Carl, Jafar, Lynn, Hector, Nirgal, and Eliwood. For Sacred Stones, we have Erica, Amelia. Now, since there's no soldier or, non-armored lance-using class in this game, Amelia is an armor knight now. Kind of weird, but okay. Mulder, Lute, Marissa, Ainz, Lorachel, Seth, Lion, and Ephraim. For Path of Radiance, we have Mist, Soren, Mia, Zehark, Titania, Elincia, Jeffrey, Lucia, Ashnard, and Ike. And for Radiant Dawn, we have Edward, Leonardo, Brom, Nephany, and yes, Nephany has been changed to an armor knight as well. Brom and Nephany appeared in the previous game, but they were a bit more prominent in Radiant Dawn, so again, they are here. Sanaki, Sigun, Soth, the Black Knight, Sephiron, and Micaiah. A bit of a warning though. If you have not played Radiant Dawn yet, do not, under any circumstances, summon the Black Knight the Spotpass team at all. Don't do it. Why? Because Spotpass bosses, and also when they're playable, don't wear helmets. Yeah. The Black Knight's identity is a pretty major reveal in Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. In fact, it's one of the biggest mysteries of those games. And if you play this game first and look at his portrait, it won't be entirely obvious to you, but trust me, from how his head looks, you should be able to very easily deduce who he is, so just a warning there. And also we have others. Now this set is mostly comprised of misguided or sympathetic villains from past games, except for Narshan, he's just a jerk. So we have here Camus from Fire Emblem 1, Travant from Fire Emblem 5 and 4, Ishtar from Fire Emblem 5 and 4, Lloyd, Linus, and Ursula, all from Fire Emblem 7, Selena from Fire Emblem 8, Patrine and Oliver, or Loliver, from Path of Radiance and also kind of Radiant Dawn. I find it funny that Oliver's a sorcerer here. Yeah, he used to be a bishop, now he's a dark magic user. Kind of weird, that. But anyway, these teams all have levels, and that's generally the recommended level you want to take them on at, although be warned about promoted classes, so Nina here is a level 1 Sage. One other thing that I want to point out, though, there's actually some very cool references in the makeups of a lot of these teams that you'll only get if you are a very hardcore Fire Emblem fan. I'll point out one to you, or at least a couple, and I'll leave the rest for you to figure out for yourself. Trust me, it's more fun that way. So for Sarah here, notice that she has on her team a mage, an armor knight, and a thief. These are the 3 classes of all 3 of her potential husbands from her game. Yeah. Then we have Lyn. As you can see here, Lyn has 2 paladins, a Pegasus Knight, a sniper, a warrior, a bow knight, a trickster, I think that's a war monk, and a general. These represent the original members of Lindis's Legion, the characters who joined you in Lyn's story. Kent and Sane are the 2 paladins, Florina is the Pegasus Knight, Will is the archer, Dorcas is the warrior, Wrath is the bow knight, Matthew is the trickster, the war monk is Lucius, and the general is Wallace. Urk and Sarah aren't represented here because they're in Sarah's team. Again, I'll leave the rest of the references for you to figure out yourself. There's in fact some references even in the stats of the Spotpass teams. Gets confusing. So, definitely recommended. Now, I'm going to summon a low-level team just to train Donnel a bit, and I'll show the battle as well. Now, because I've done a playthrough of it, and because Fire Emblem 4 was the first playthrough I ever did on YouTube, I thought I may as well summon someone from that. I was initially thinking Deirdre, but as you can see, her whole team is mages, and that many mages coming at you all at once, this early in the game, kinda tears you apart. Instead, we're gonna summon everyone's favourite Pegasister, Fee. Okay, good, she appeared in a reasonably decent location. A few times ago, she appeared in the South Town, and that caused problems because that's a very small map to have a lot of Pegasus Knights flying around in. So, here she is. Let's check her out. So, all of them do have just one thing they say, and some of them are kind of interesting. So, we can view stats, but just a warning. If you're playing on any difficulty above normal mode, view stats is pointless. Their stats will be much higher when you actually go into the battle. If you want to check out their stats on hard or lunatic mode, I suggest looking up a resource like serenesforest.net. They, I think, have the full stats for most of the teams, although for some of them they only have lunatic mode stats. We can just outright pay her gold to recruit her, but yeah, let's not do that. The only reason we summoned her was for experience, after all. We can also buy items. By doing this, we'll be able to buy any item that is carried by anyone on her team. The problem is, if you buy anything here, this immediately dismisses the team from the map, so just watch out for that. We can also dismiss them ourselves, but what we want here is a fight. Let's do this, Fee. If we win, we get to recruit her. Just be warned though, if you're playing on classic mode, these battles really are for real. You can and will, if you're not careful, lose characters here, so very, very careful. But anyway, let's go to west of Yellowstone, which is where a lot of challenge maps take place, and fight against this team. Oh, okay, it's here. Okay, we're having a battle amidst the raging apocalyptic setting, which is pretty awesome. So as you can see, she has a couple of level 2 Pegasus Knights. Their stats are very high for level 2s though. Yeah, these teams are actually quite tricky on the higher difficulty levels, probably to make grinding harder. If you're playing lunatic mode, they really don't want you grinding, and these teams will get very, very high leveled. As you can see there's Fee. She has this weird glowy aura about her. If you've played the DLC, you'll actually know what that means. She is a summoned spirit of a past hero. She's not actually the real Fee. So anyway, from here, the interesting thing about these skirmishes is that they're the only maps in the entire game where Crom is not compulsory to deploy, so you can actually leave him out if you want. Anyway, we definitely want Donnel here, and also Kellum, because Donnel and Kellum are a compatible support pair. That and Kellum will give him a good amount of defense. Now, I'm going to want to bring Starl and Sully, because I actually don't plan on using them in the next storyline chapter, so I'm going to get them a bit of experience here. Now, let's see who else we want. Frederick might be useful for tanking, but Lissa will be useful for healing. And I kind of like to bring Virion as well, just for the extra... Virion's good at weakening things, let's just say. Now, this is a much more of an open map than a lot of other things, but we should be able to lure these guys. At least the axe users are all isolated, so... yeah. Haven't actually practiced with them here, because the location that the street Spotpass team will show up in is kind of random, so... yeah, but we want to deal with the inventory a little bit first. I want to have Lisa take that rescue star from Virion. This game's inventory system takes a bit of getting used to, but once you actually work it out, it's actually pretty effective and easy to use. Donnel, let's just deposit both your chest keys. And we go to Lances, and let's see... we'll take Sumia's Iron Lance because we're not going to be using her in this playthrough. Now, I know that Donnel can't even use this yet, but he's going to reach a D rank in Lances pretty soon, so nice to have a weapon for when he does that. One more, huh? You know what? It may not be a bad idea to bring Crom. Okay, now I definitely want Donnel and Kellum down there. And I probably want Frederick and Virion around that area too. This is also one of the only times when you can actually swap Crom's position with anyone else, so... that is pretty useful too. Stull and Sully don't exactly need to be very far in. I think they should probably take out most of the axe users. We just need to watch out for Fee, because we don't want anyone else to take her down, because being a boss, she'll give a good amount of experience, so we want Donnel to make sure that he claims that. Anyway though, looks like we're pretty much ready to fight. So let's go ahead and do that. And welcome to one of my favorite map themes in this game. This will only play during random skirmishes on the map that aren't connected to the main story, but in fact, we actually can change the music here. We can play Prelude, Storm Clouds, or Duty. We can basically play any song that's already played during the game, so there are more songs than this, but we'll get them as we progress in the game. However, I'm going to stick with Conquest because it is exclusive to these battles, and it's a very, very nice piece of music. You'll especially see in a moment. Anyway, though, I'm going to make a quick map save, though, because this may not end well in some cases. Anyway, we have a Pegasus over there. Let's just go ahead and do the pair up. Another good thing about this map is lots and lots of good defensive terrain. Also, I may want Crom to get some support with Lissa, because, I mean, you know, she is his sister after all. Okay, okay, Stahl needs a bit more there. And I'm going to make sure... last time, I actually unequipped Sully's weapons to prevent her from dual striking. I'm going to make sure to do that this time. Although, remember that dual strikes aren't actually affected by the weapon triangle. I mean, they are for accuracy, but not so much for evasion, so it's less of an issue to equip weapons there. Okay, these guys are going to go... down there, I think. Okay, that's a lot of damage. And yeah, as you can see, Crom is being kind of weak at this point without Mary Sue's support.
You can do this.
It might be that these enemies are just pretty strong, though. Come on, Dual Strike. No, really? Well, okay, I may have to retreat Crom now. And yeah, these guys have a tendency to double you a lot. Or should I say girls? Yeah, generic Pegasus Knight enemies are female in this game. And that was a very nicely timed dual strike there. Because now I can actually finish this enemy off with Donnel. Mercenary, mercenary. Please everyone go towards Donnel. Oh, great. Okay, that's bad. Yeah, I may have to run for a bit. And definitely take this one out, though.
I can help. Hooey.
And here we have why I love this theme so much. Yes, it contains a rearrangement of the Fire Emblem theme, which is pretty amazing.
Quick and dirty. I like it.
That was unlucky. And yeah, so something that you might have noticed about the way battle themes work in this game. I haven't actually explained this yet because I've sort of been focused more on the actual gameplay aspects of chapters. But this game does not have its own battle themes, technically speaking. Instead, every battle theme is a more dramatic rearrangement of the map theme it plays. They're sort of using the variable mix system that a lot of games seem to use. It's actually kind of cool. As you can see, the battle music seamlessly transitions into the more dramatic version when you ever get into a combat. And he's at B with swords already? Well, I guess Discipline will do that for you. Yeah, that's more like it.
Save some for me.
Showing me up?
I really hope you guys don't show up Donnel, though, because I really did this map just to benefit him. Okay, good. Defense, that's nice. Gonna need that.
Go for it.
Really? And no dual strike. Okay, that's kind of what I wanted. Let's just skip this because you're going to do no damage anyway. Okay, all those Pegasus Knights coming right at me could be a serious problem. Because ideally, I actually want them to all converge on Kellum and Donnie. But seeing as they tend to do no damage to them...
You can do this.
Speaking of no damage... I really want to make sure... Do you guys have any vulneraries? Not exactly. Okay, let's just hope they can't actually hit us from here.
Thanks.
Okay, good, they're not in range. I kind of want all these guys to go ahead and attack these people. Let's just move them there. Yes, good, good, good.
Just look at them. I got your back.
Oh, no dual strike.
Let's get her done.
My general idea here is to have Kellum weaken the enemies until Donnie's able to finish them off. Well, I mean, that should be pretty obvious. Of course, these guys actually can damage Frederick, but it'll take ages for them to actually get through all of his health and defense.
Let's end this.
Okay, this guy's gonna die, most likely. But I probably should switch to Sully soon. Okay, good fees going there.
I spotted trouble.
And team leaders have their own boss theme, which is pretty cool.
Go get it.
Yeah, now the problem I have here is that if I switch back to Donnie, there's actually a pretty good chance that he may not survive. At least he gained experience through dual strikes like that.
Follow my lead.
That didn't even hit. Yeah, so a situation like this with Frederick is one that I actually wanted to do. Now I can just leave him there while the enemies just go stacks on him. And, yes, again though, the problem is if I switch back to Donnie, he is going to take some fairly severe damage from some of the enemies. Yes, especially since Fee can actually reach him. Now I can't move Frederick at all, but I don't even really care. Lissa's actually nearly able to use the physics staff, though. If I get her to a C, she'll actually be able to heal Donnie from a distance, which will be very, very good. Of course, this early in the game, our actual range on healing staffs is going to be pretty bad, but anyway. Now, if I go there, then that guy's going to start going for me. Okay, let's just try something for a moment. Because I'm actually training here and I desperately need Donnel to level up, I'm actually going to make another map point save here. Gonna go ahead and equip that Iron Lance on Donnel because there's really no reason not to. But I'm gonna switch back to Kellum for the moment. And I didn't mean to. There we go. Because I'm actually going to go ahead and move him around up here just to see if I can lure and weaken some more of these guys up there. That should be enough.
I spy trouble. Alright.
Yeah, well this guy's going to die to Kellum. You'll notice the little flourish they do with their weapons usually indicates they've actually killed something. Because of that, be very, very careful if an enemy does that, because that generally can't be good news. And we have an axe user here, i.e. someone who's actually a threat to Kellum. Come on, Donnie, dual strike more often. Okay, I wanted you to come and attack Kellum. And, well, that was stupid. And that was also stupid. Okay, you won't weaken yourselves, I weaken you. Or do I? Let's see. You know what? This is gonna look stupid, but... yeah, that guy's gonna suicide himself anyway.
Shall we?
Virion needs a tiny bit more experience, because I haven't used him for a little while. Actually, might as well use the Javelin here just to reduce the damage that I'm doing to them.
We gotta win.
Nope. And no dual strike. Actually, just gotta keep an eye on that range. Kinda want Sully to gain at least one level up. But of course, everyone's gonna go for attacking the archer.
Let's do this.
Again, this is for Sully. She needs at least one level up out of this, because Stahl did. Gotta keep Stully evenly leveled after all. For some reason, the RNG just decided to give that Sully needs a good level up pretty much now. And does she have more strength than Stahl? That is worrying. I might actually be suffering from the Cain and Abel curse this time. It's always a thing with me. Always one of them gets RNG screwed and the other one outclasses them in every way. It always happens. Yeah, my luck is weird, in case you haven't figured it out by now. Well, that was nice, but chill guarding for 1 damage isn't exactly the most productive thing to do. Yeah, she has more strength than him. And almost as much defense. I am... well, he has more HP though, so... guess it is balancing out, but I am a bit worried here because, yes, like I've said, I do suffer from a bit of a curse when it comes to Cain and Abel type characters.
Very kind of you.
And I believe, yes, she can actually use this staff now. The range of these things is magic over 2, so... I'm going to switch back now. Let's actually go ahead and attack her now.
I'm here.
And no dual strike. Hey, I'm impressed, Callum. Stop being so hard on yourself. Okay, yeah, some of those Pegasus Knights are in their range, which is not good. But of course, everyone's still just, you know, attack the unequipped character. Apologies if this is boring, but I sort of need to do this. Okay, here's the thing. That's not going to be enough. See, I take 8 damage from each of these. And 8 times 2 is 16, which, although, how big is Lissa's... Lissa can't even get to him. But I think Lissa can reach there. Although she would need to go into Pegasus Knight range to do so, which is annoying because that's exactly what I don't want. You know, now that I think about it, this might not be a bad option.
I got your back.
Come on. Oh, wait, actually, wait. Okay, yeah, I didn't want Donnel to dual strike there, because if he did, then he wouldn't have got the full kill bonus, because you don't get that for dual strikes. Okay, I think... I could probably skip the entire enemy turn here, because it's not like anything relevant's going to happen. Now that Donnel has a D rank in Lancers, though, he can actually take Kellum's Javelin and use it for himself, which I might need to do here. I'm actually going to make another save point. Yes, I am save abusing, but I don't exactly care, because I sort of need to for Donnie. Where's my, yeah, trade with Kellum, get the Javelin, and I just realized that he doesn't get a chance to use it this turn. I mean, I could, but then I don't get the vulnerary healing. So I'll just go ahead and equip that, and then use this. I just need to hope and pray that the fort does enough.
Good luck.
Come on, dodge or dual guard. Well, that's good. Okay, this is what I was worried about.
Watch out.
Only 3 damage. That actually doesn't sound all that bad, considering that Fee is going to go down now. There she goes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fee. You're awesome in my file, but I need to use you for experience here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Strength and skill, which he desperately needs. No speed is annoying, but defense is good too. Okay, hopefully, though... Yeah, you'll only do 1 damage. This fort strategy was a very good idea, actually. Take you out. And most likely take you out too.
I can help.
No, no dual strike. So Kellum doesn't get any experience out of this, but... Hey, Donnel's almost leveled up twice. And that extra healing is certainly helpful. Okay, you're going down.
I'm right beside you.
And you'll definitely level up next turn. Let's just see if Viron can get something good here. Although, that will cause the enemy to most likely target him. And Lissa's not exactly going to be in range for the physics staff. Kind of want to get both these event tiles, though, by the end of this one. Please, weapon. Aha, weapon. And it's a slack bow. I'll show you once we actually get to it, but I believe this is one of the several joke weapons in this game that you can obtain via random event tiles. Well, this has certainly been a success for leveling up Donnie. So yeah, that's Slackbow. Let's see that. Weak and ill-suited for battle. 1 might. Yeah. Some of these joke weapons do have some interesting properties, like really, really high critical, but this one, not so much. I guess maybe they're really cheap for forging, but still, it has less uses than an iron bow, even. Let's just go up here. Come on, something good. Oh, okay, is this weapon experience, or... Weapon experience, okay. Funny, we haven't actually seen one of the event tile, things at all. Oh, I could just use rescue, but nah, I'm not really going to do that. Let's just do this, just so that Lisa gets a bit more experience. No need to waste the physics staff when they're right next to you.
Many thanks.
Wow! Of all the people who get the first near-perfect level up, I didn't think it would be you. But, seriously, wow. That's amazing. I'm kind of speechless at that. That was pretty awesome.
I'm right beside you.
Oh, 1 HP. Oh, well, it actually means a little bit more experience. And speaking of which... Yeah, let's go ahead and finish the job.
Hey, over here. Yeah.
So, Spotpass team defeated.
My lord.
And we get a generic quote for each of these. And we get to choose to recruit fee, so let's go ahead and do that. And from here, I'll save. And our renown has increased for defeating a Spotpass team. Now, just need to show off what, where she is. Oh, there she is. Okay, there's Fee. So, as far as Spotpass characters are concerned, Spotpass characters are essentially just generic customized avatars with, the official art of another character. They can't support anyone, they have no quotes for leveling up or getting event tiles, they're pretty much complete and total non-entities, but they can reclass to anything in the game, and that includes Tactician, so Mary Sue, you have some competition there. So, due to their lack of supports, Spotpass characters tend to be pretty weak overall, but really their best use is rally bots, because really you don't want to waste making a major character a rally bots, but they're decent for what they are, and it's pretty fun having past Fire Emblem characters on your team. Well, I mean, they're not really on your team, because again, they're just completely... They're essentially lifeless dolls, basically. They don't say anything, they... Yeah. Also, their growth rates and stat caps, all of them are treated effectively like an avatar. They're given an asset and floor, and that affects their stat caps and growth rates. So, if you want to find out what a Spotpass character's asset and floor is, you should check Serena's Forest. I think that has a list, but for the most part it should be fairly obvious. I would expect that Fee's asset would be speed in some way. Some of them also come with interesting skills though, because Fee here has Tantivity from the Wyvern Rider class branch. Now, you might have seen a mention of the Avatar Logbook. The Avatar Logbook is where characters that you get from Street Pass or Spot Pass are stored, and it can store a maximum of 99 characters. So here's Fee. I just recruited her here. Now, all these others, and here's Mary Sue from another practice file. Yeah, you can register your file's avatars to this logbook, and it'll register their stats, and you can then pay gold to summon them in your file. Now, at the risk of alienating some people, if you played the Persona series, this works almost exactly like the Persona Compendium. So basically, you register characters, they keep their stats here, but they have those stats when you take them out, but the higher their stats, the more gold it costs to summon them. As you can see, summoning even base Fee here is going to cost more than actually simply buying her from her team outright will cost, so this does cost a bit of gold, but from here you can see a whole bunch of... Some of these are DLC characters. DLC characters are basically treated exactly the same as Spot Pass characters. They just have unique portraits, so I've got a couple of them stored here. Plus Nephany, because she's cool. But anyway, that is pretty much all for this, actually, let me just see something. Yes, we got a support between Donnel and Kellen. So next time we'll be doing that, and yeah, that's been this episode on Spotpass teams. Next time we'll actually be continuing with the main story finally, so I'll see you there.